SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's the B.O.B., and I'm here with a solo edition of Around the Table with E and the Fat Man, the podcast that we talk about whatever we want. We have about 1 week left in the regular season, so I figured we could kind of wrap up our predictions for teams, all teams at the end of the season. We did our all-world A and B teams. I figured we could touch base on our all SimWorld defensive team prediction. There are a lot of very, very good defenders in all SimWorld prep. And I think that it's time for them to get a little bit of their due this year, because we really don't talk about defenders too much. Defenders are usually the ones that go understated throughout the entire season. You might have the one or two that really stick out to you. Because generally, in the SWBA for years, it's Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. It's like those were the three names that were going to be on that list at the end of the season, and there really wasn't any worth talking about anybody else, despite there probably being some very, very elite defenders around them as well, that just weren't getting talked about. So I do want to start off a little bit. There's going to be some snubs on this. There are going to be some honorable mentions that I have that I could also see being swapped out into the all-defensive team. I'll start with my honorable mentions. We got Beast of the East teammates Isaiah James and JoJo Kearney, AT Aliens Orion Toomey, and Southeast Selects Gabe Pope. They are all very, very good defenders. Very good defenders that you would love to have on your team. But for my prediction, as of right now, I don't necessarily think that those four are going to make it onto the SimWorld Prep all-defensive team. Could be completely wrong. I know that people are going to be fighting. They're going to be pounding the table for Toomey and Pope and Isaiah James, all three of them. But there's so much talent on the defensive side this year that I just think it's going to be closer than a lot of people really think. To start off with who I think is going to be on the on the all-defensive team, my prediction, I'm going to have... before I name it, I will say I didn't go guard, forward, big. I just went with who I think are the 5 best defenders in all of SimWorld Prep. I wasn't necessarily trying to put a team together, so I'm just going to preface that before I start naming all of them off. So I'm going to start with teammates Orland Mock and Jermaine Owens of Philadelphia Elite. They are spearheading one of the top defensive teams in all of SimWorld Prep, and they are very, very good defenders. Orland Mock has really, people are finally saying his name this season. However, we know that even going back to last season, he was still a very good defender, but he wasn't the flashy name to talk about. So I think Orland Mock definitely going to land on it this year. Jermaine Owens definitely going to land on it this year. I'm going to swing over one of our honorable mentions, Orion Toomey's teammate, Bevison Patches. Bevison Patches has really taken the league, I would say, I don't want to say by storm, but by storm this year, because I don't know if a lot of people expected much out of him. But he is showing that he is one of the top tier defenders in all of SimWorld Prep, and when he moves on to SimWorld U, he's going to make a team very, very happy. He can really do it all on the outside. So I think AT Aliens, Bevison Patches, despite them kind of having their up and down year, Bevison Patches is still one that I would say he deserves to be on this list, just like Orion Toomey. I mean, they are 16-15 right now, which isn't a losing record, but I do know that I believe that Auburn is definitely going to be excited to have Patches out there on their team next season, especially in that SEC. One guy he's kind of been talked about. He's going to be on the all-world SimWorld team, whether it be the A or the B team. And he's also possibly in the conversation of player of the year, but he's probably one of the dark horses for that, because if it's not Jafet Towns or Cooper Flagg, they're probably considered a dark horse at this point. But I have to go with the Yacht Club's Josiah Cook. He has just done everything this year, offensively, defensively, but his defensive stuff has really stuck out. He is athletic enough to get back to the basket whenever somebody has beaten him, and I just think that overall, you throw him in at power forward with another big down there, because he's big. He's 6'11". He's huge, but there's some bigger guys out there as well. But I think Josiah Cook, you can really pair him with somebody else. He's athletic enough to be able to roam the court, roam the paint. He's not just going to stand down there in the key and just pick up blocks. He's going to do a little bit of everything for you. So I think Josiah Cook definitely makes that all-defensive SimWorld Prep team. And finally, the one that I think could potentially be swapped out with some of our honorable mentions like JoJo Kearney and Orion Toomey, I have to go with the originators Viktoras Ilgauskas. He has, since he's come onto the scene, just been a scary force down low. He's not the most athletic guy, but he is going to be consistent. And this year he has also proved to be consistent. He is a block machine. Some of the offenses that teams have thrown at him this year has kind of slowed his production down a little bit, but that doesn't make him any less scarier. You do not want to see him if you're driving to the paint. He's probably the last guy that you want to see standing in your way. At 6'1", I think 274, he's just a monster down low, and I think that he rounds out the SimWorld Prep all defensive team. And I think that might be the 6th different way that I've described what that all team is named, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, that's what I got. I got my honorable mentions: JoJo Kearney, Orion Toomey, Gabe Pope, Isaiah James, and then I throw that prediction for the all defensive team: Orland Mock, Bevison Patches, Jermaine Owens, Josiah Cook, Viktoras Ilgauskas. I think that's those 9 names in some way, shape, or form. 5 of them are going to be on the all defensive team. I don't think there's going to be any surprises out there at all on who's going to make it. But I say those 9 teams, just throwing the honorable mentions in there too, those 9 team names are ones to definitely look out for whenever that actual team gets announced. Big week coming this week for SimWorld Prep. The most important game, potentially the game of the year, on Tuesday at 7 o'clock on SimWorld TV. You got the originators heading to Philadelphia. It's going to be a big game, big defensive game. They're 2 of the best defensive. They are the top 2 defenses in SimWorld Prep. I believe that it's going to be a tough defensive battle, but it should be a close game. But I think I'm going to go, my prediction for that game, Philadelphia 45, Originators 44. How about that? Well, I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday.